the resurrection, and these guys are out fishing, and they've been out all night, and it's just not working for them, and there's this dude standing on the seashore, and he's just like, hey, throw the net on the other side of the boat. And these guys are like, sounds great. Why don't you come out here and do it? Right? He doesn't know what he's talking about, right? Standing on the sidelines. I have some advice. And so they're just like, whatever, man. He's hassling them. He won't give it up. They finally do it. They realize when the miracle happens, it's Jesus. Okay, that's a funny story, but what's interesting about it is that they didn't recognize Jesus. These are the guys who spent 3 years with him. They saw everything. They heard the Sermon on the Mount. They saw him raise Lazarus from the dead. Incredible stuff, right? The stuff in history that we would love to have been eyewitnesses to. They were with him. And there he is on the seashore, and they don't recognize him. I can't believe it. Think about it a lot. Do we recognize him? Right? Our hearts need to be open. We need to be disarmed so that we can see him, so that we can recognize him. What is it in us that prevents us from seeing him for who he is? What is it in us that prevents us from recognizing? Right? John Sobrino, the Jesuit in El Salvador, several years ago, his community was slaughtered. Maybe you remember about the Civil War there. The only reason he wasn't slaughtered was because he was away receiving a peace prize on behalf of his community. Ironically, it was that same community receiving the Peace Prize on the campus of the Central American University that the government soldiers did come for. And when they came for these men, right, they went after them. They were the brains of the revolution, of the people's movement. And so to make the point that this is what happens to the brains of this revolution, they shot these men in the back of the head, opening their skulls, and then they literally used tools to pull their brains out. And they threw them throughout the campus. Would it happen here? Could it happen here? Do we see him? Sobrino reflects on that. And when he talks about that, he says, Christ, without Jesus of Nazareth, is a fantastic abstraction. That's the Christ of the empire. The Christ that we take and we fill with these symbols of power and control and dominance. Right? It's the Christ without Jesus of Nazareth. Who is he?